You're listening to episode 23 of the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast, Difficulty Ease. Welcome to the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast, a show for high achievers who are ready to start enjoying the life they've worked so hard to create. Join me, your host and certified life coach, Dr. Tangi, to learn how to start infusing the dedication you have for your career into living a truly fulfilling life. If you're ready to finally gain the happiness your soul has been longing for, this podcast is for you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 23. I am so happy you are here, and today we are going to talk about the difficulty that comes with life and being human and living on planet Earth, and how to accept those moments with more ease and more grace. Not that it erases any difficulty at all, but just so it helps you kind of navigate through difficult periods that may arise for you. And I'm actually going to start by reading one of my favorite quotes by an author and a physician, M. Scott Peck, regarding accepting the difficulty of life. And what he said is that life is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we can transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult, because once it is accepted, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. And this is from a book that he wrote called The Road Less Traveled. M. Scott Peck was a physician, a psychiatrist, and his argument was that life was never meant to be easy for any of us. And what life actually is a series of problems that we can either solve or we can ignore. And what he believed is that it is only because of these problems that we're able to grow spiritually and mentally. And on the other side of the coin, he also hypothesized that our tendency to avoid our problems and sweep them under the rug because we don't want to deal with emotional pain, that emotional pain that tends to accompany them, was the main basis for a lot of our problems that we experience as humans. And for me, what I have noticed in myself is a lot of the times when I'm living on easy street and things are going really well, and I start to see this difficulty creep in because I know there's another shift coming, there's another transformation coming, there's another level that I need to transcend to. I've noticed that even in my own body, mind, will, what have you, that there can be this sense of entitlement and this expectation of, wait, I've already done so much work. I've already done X, Y, and Z. Everything's supposed to be easy for me from here on out. And of course, this isn't helped by, what we see in our current culture, in movies, reality television, influencer type culture. Everything outside of ourselves that we're supposed to want is portrayed as being super easy. And if it's not easy, then what the hell's wrong with you? And what I want to say is that what I've come to learn is that life so much of the time is simple. It's really simple, but rarely have I found it to be easy. And one of the biggest things that I have grown to appreciate about life are the difficulties that I've experienced, because they have been the biggest catalyst for my change. They have been the biggest supporters of the character and the depth that I now possess. And this character is what gives you the strength to conquer what's to come next. And none of us knows really what's coming next, but the more character you have, it's my belief that if you take the time to learn from your difficulties, to build your character, that the things that come next become easier than they could have been had you not taken the time to explore what's happening for you when life actually does become difficult. Our character will, a lot of the time, depend on whether we succeed or whether we fail at the tests that are thrown our way. And it's not that you can ever really control situations. We're definitely not able to control other people, but there are things we can control. We can control our mindset and how we think about things, how we choose to approach problems. We can control what our values are and how to approach things in integrity, in wholeness, and in truth. We can learn to always try to take the high road in love and enjoy as much as we are able, because the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, what your life looks like in the midst of your difficulties is entirely up to you. And I know that a lot of us have been conditioned to think that a lot of external factors, such as, who our boss is or who our friends are, or, the actual circumstances around us, we tend to give them more power than they actually have. But what's real is that we have all of these facts of life outside of us that are our circumstances. And then we have our mind and how we think and how we choose to navigate through the world. And that plays a major role in how we experience the difficulties that come our way. It's this accepting 100% responsibility for our life, even when it seems like we're not 100% responsible for the things that are happening in our life, right? It's the idea that nobody owes us anything, not even in the midst of difficulty. So it turns into a bit of a waste of time to get stuck in the entitlement that we think life should be easy when it's really difficult, or to get stuck in waiting on somebody to come save us or fix us or even help us when we can do that ourselves. And the recognition that nobody owes us anything. So for me, what I figured out is, rather than indulging in this sense of entitlement, it was really important for me to internalize life and learn how to navigate the totality of life, whether it's the easy parts or the difficult parts, to recognize that they are all blessings. And regardless of what we're going through, we always have a lot to be grateful for and thankful for. Like, are you alive and breathing? Are you in decent health? Do you have clothes on your back? Do you have shoes on your feet? Do you have a roof over your head? These are all blessings that we should never take for granted. And so a lot of the times when we are experiencing difficulty, it is beneficial to go back and anchor ourselves in these things. So my quick guide to additional things you could do when life gets difficult is to, number one, recognize that you are in a rough spot. Recognize, hey, this is difficult. Recognize that, you are in a challenging spot and that there is a new level of growth approaching you. And one of the key things I do is to acknowledge why this feels difficult to me. So this is akin to doing a thought download, where you just kind of get all of your thoughts about the situation down on paper and you acknowledge everything that feels heavy and burdensome and why you don't want to go through it, why it's a problem, why you're struggling. Acknowledge all these things. And then finally, what I like to do is connect with that future version of myself that is experiencing ease and grace and abundance at some future point in the timeline when this particular difficulty is no longer an issue. And I like to meditate on what are the lessons that she has for me at this time while I'm going through the difficulty. What lessons does she have for you when you're going through the difficulty of experiencing success exhaustion? What lessons does she have for you when you're going through the difficulty of feeling like an imposter or unworthy, when you're feeling disregarded? What does she have to say to you? And start living your life from that point. That my loves, is when difficulty starts to shift into difficulty ease. You're not going to get rid of the difficulty, but you can navigate through it with more ease and grace than you ever have before. Have a wonderful week. Hey, want to learn exactly how to overcome all the obstacles that are keeping you from having both success and happiness? Well, sign up for the Wealthy Happy Soul Project so that you can begin creating the life you really want to live. And this is perfect for you if you don't want to waste another year swimming in indecision while watching other people just get over themselves and do the things that you have been dreaming about. There are so many people, even during a worldwide pandemic, who have started their business anyway, who have doubled their income anyway, and who have switched careers anyway. Isn't it your turn? Go to drtangi.com, click on the yellow course button, and sign up now. Thank you for listening to the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast. If you want to dive deeper into alignment and start cultivating your inner wealth, head on over to drtangi.com.